The 877th edition of the MMA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog. Get up to $1,000 deposit match when you sign up at UnderdogFantasy.com using promo code MMA SGPN.
Howdy ho, Degenerinos. Welcome to episode 877 of the MMA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network, dedicated to someone who made a lot of money for Gumby, and hopefully for you, because most of you people blindly follow Gumby, wherever he goes. Loe Abushar. Gumby, what did you cash at?
He was, well, actually, I only saw him at plus 350.
Right.
But plenty of the folks on our Discord got him all the way up to 425 by fight time. And he won in the first round with one of the most vicious knees I've ever seen in my damn life. And the cool thing was, as I was saying, that Edmund Kwan couldn't handle his reach, and he got overzealous, walked right into a big, long, lanky knee, which is just awesome. I love when not only does the pick win, but the handicap looks good too. That's the best kind of underdog to hit.
Exactly. Yeah, this is the guy you said looks crazy because he's like massive. Super
he was
tall,
like 6'2". I want to
4. Wow, 6'4" it says.
Yeah, and it was featherweight too, right?
Oh my god, that's crazy.
Yeah, and so like he was weird, or no, maybe it wasn't feather.
That was 155. It said
lightweight. I think he's fought down at featherweight in the past. Yeah. But lightweight, 6'4", and big. It's all legs too. It's like no torso at all. Big long lanky dude. Big long arms. And he's fighting an undefeated 5-0 prospect. And once again, Tapology cappers see 5-0 and they're like, this dude's nasty, and automatically pick him. And if you watch just a little bit of film, you too could be cashing a 420. And that film doesn't even have to be fight film. You can just watch us.
Yeah, exactly. It's true. We are on maybe not film, but we are on something.
I don't know. This is a film, I think. Sure, I don't know if we're going to get nominated for any Oscars, but I would call this a film.
Maybe. No Oscars and no Pulitzer Prizes for our writing, but still, it's fun anyhow. We'll talk. Actually, this is our regional episode because I did not have time to watch the old UFC last night. So this is going to be a regional episode. We're not going to give me any spoilers, but it was an up and down weekend, right? For the regional stuff.
Oh, it was an up and up weekend.
Oh, really?
For the regional stuff. So on LFA, unfortunately, I'll give you the full recap. Unfortunately, on LFA, 2 of the fights got canceled. The main event got canceled. They promoted Rafael do Nascimento into the main event, and then his opponent pulled out at the last second too. So both the main event and co-main event got canceled. Then on the undercard, we hit 2, or the rest of the card, we hit 2 out of 3, only missing a pretty close decision in the main event, which was on an underdog in Jacob Rosales. But when you add the plus 425 in there, we wound up just about 3.5 units. So that's a pretty good run on LFA. Yeah. And then one of our fights got canceled at Ryzen as well, but we went 3-1, only missing the split decision in the main event. But because those odds were like really not forgiving, we wound up 0.1 units.
Hey, it's up still. It's up still.
Up. And at the time of us recording, we're currently only 1 fight into Fury FC. As we were about to record, Bellamir was walking out to the cage. Yep. But 2 entrees. Deontay Johnson just knocked out James Ford, and he cashed it plus 170 for us. So the weekend of the underdog is here.
There you go. No kidding. All right. Before we dive into PFL is what we're covering today. Reminder, Sports Gambling Podcast is back with a 32 NFL team previews. Hot. Is that time again? They're also bringing back the phrase that pays. Each episode, they'll give out one phrase of a 32-word phrase. Submit the phrase for a chance to win a $1,000 circa future. All right. PFL time. It's kind of a weird PFL event, is it not? This PFL World Championship.
I think the big problem is they're getting to the finals.
Yeah,
and so they're starting to run out because they've got I think it's 3 events worth of finals.
Yeah,
because they got 8 divisions, so they're going to do 2, 3, and 3. This is this is the 2 weekend. So now they're filling things out, and I think some people are like, nah, I'd rather just not fight on for PFL for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
So they're like, I think they're digging deep to try to fill these cards.
Yeah. Oh, these are actually, we have tournament championships. They're at the championships already. Wow. Time is flying, Gumby. They're not doing the big end of the year thing like they used to do.
I think that's when the super fight crap is happening.
Yeah.
And also you got to remember too, that now they have PFL Africa, PFL Europe, PFL MENA. They got to finish all those tournaments later. So like, I don't know if they're just not trying to run things next to each other or what they're doing, but yeah, they're getting the proper open. No, they don't. I mean, Don Davis just hired somebody else to do most of the work. So
that's good.
Some hope.
Yeah. No, plus I forgot this season's there's less fights.
There's no regular season.
Yeah,
it's 3 fights for these guys. So finishing 3 fights before August. I know they started a little later, but it's a little cramped. But it's they've gotten a reasonable amount of time.
Yep. All right. So we were talking about PFL World Championship. No, sorry, PFL. It's a different name. PFL World Tournament 8 : 2025 finals. So that's the catchy name. August the 1st. We're already to August. So that would be this coming Friday, Atlantic City, New Jersey. So Gumby, you can make the trip. That's your side of the world.
Yeah, I don't think I'm
gonna. 6 p.m. start time, 10 fights. Today we're breaking down 5 and 5. So we're going to sneak a prelim fight that just got added last minute. We're going to sneak that on tomorrow's main card episode. Today is all about the prelim fights, but since some of these guys were in the tournament this year, were they not? Maybe not actually. Not these prelims.
One of them.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll get you winners regardless, and we have odds already, and we're gonna dive into it with a featherweight fight. Kicking things off, Matt Turnbull versus Tom Pagliarulo. They're both from the United States, and they're fighting 145. You saw the odds, I take it, right? They've been up for a while. Okay, no guessing then. Turnbull, white chocolate. He's 9-6, 1 knockout, 5 submissions. Never. He's been submitted twice. This is his debut in PFL. He's won 3 straight. Before that, he lost 2 straight. Submission win in his last bout. Multiple regional championships on his
mantle.
Correct. Get the shirt, get the merch, get all the good stuff. sportsgamblingpockets.com/store. Use fight down at 135, up at 155. 2-1 as a pro grappler. Plus 437. Pagliarulo, the phenom, 9-2, 7 knockouts, 1 submission. He's been submitted once. This is his debut as well in PFL. He's won 3 straight as well in 6 of 7. Past 3 wins all came via TKO. Regional champion, 3 years younger than Turnbull, 5 inches taller. minus 549. Sorry.
Yeah. I knew it was going to be a big number on Tommy Pags. And it's him all day. I like Tom Pagliarulo. I've actually seen him fight live a couple of times. He's the regional champion. He is of Cage Titans out in Plymouth, Massachusetts. So, a pretty good promotion there. And he actually beat Don Shainis for the title. So he's got a win over a UFC veteran. A highly touted prospect here, which is not true of Turnbull necessarily. And the thing I like about Pagliarulo too is like he's really long and lanky. He's 6 foot tall at featherweight. Not quite Al-Bashar style, but he's tall. I don't necessarily like his fighting stance. Every time I watch him, I'm like, why isn't he exploiting that height more? But he kind of hunches over and like leans forward. And I think it's just because it's used to like being able to hit people from a range they can't hit him at. So like, he can sort of dance with that. And I think maybe one day that'll catch him, but not with Turnbull, because Turnbull is, he swings really wild. He's, kind of all over the place standing up. He's really susceptible to counters that will just absolutely jack him up. And he's only 5'7". And that's the bigger problem here. Is he's looking at a 5-inch height discrepancy, which is, a nightmare when you're fighting Tom Pags, because like I said, he uses that length pretty well. He'd use it better if he was standing upright. But also on top of that too, like Pags has just got crazy KO power. Like we've seen him hit people and it looks like he's not even, he's not even putting his whole self into those KO punches. Like one time he was getting backed up and he just kind of threw like a little like get off me jab, like don't touch me, let me circle away, and it slept the guy. And like you go back to his early fights, even like way early in his career, I watched one where he caught a guy's kick and he like hit him with like a little strike but I think it was just on the way to take him down from the kick he caught. He's going to hit him once and push him over or whatever, but the hit knocked him out. And then he went to go follow up with the takedown and the guy was already out. So, he has like insane power, and he's going to be fighting a guy who's 5 inches shorter and super susceptible to counters. Yeah. Even at 550, give me Tom Pags.
All right, Tom Pags is the pick to start. I'll give you 549, even better, Gumby.
Oh man, what a steal!
Yep. All right, before we dive into more steals of picks, hopefully, Circa Million and Circa Survivor is ongoing. The world's greatest sportsbook, Circa Las Vegas, is hosting the world's biggest pro football contests. Circa Million, Circa Survivor, and Circa Grandissimo, with over $21 million in guaranteed prizes. You can't call yourself a true degen if you're not competing in the Circa football contest. Come hang out with SGPN at the Circa contest weekend, August 21st, 23rd, for an amazing weekend, including live shows and open bars. Plus, you get 15% off a stay at the Circa with promo code SGP15. Contests are open to everyone. Sign up in Nevada and play from anywhere with the help of SGPN's official proxy. Go to footballcontest.com and use promo code SGP to get $50 off your proxy fees. And Underdog Best Ball Mania is happening all summer long, giving away $15 million in prizes, including $2 million to first place. No waiver wire, no arguments about trades. Best Ball is the best way to play fantasy football. Underdog also is a great place to play Pick'em, where you can win up to 500 times your entry. Gummy has got to play for you, I bet.
Yeah, tell me if you know this guy's name. He's going to be pitching on Monday. Cam Schlittler.
No.
Which, by the way, super unfortunate last name.
Yes.
But his last name is Schlittler. He's going to be he's going to be pitching for the Yankees against the Rays on Monday. He's only thrown twice, but he's already racked up 10 strikeouts. I think he goes for half a dozen here against the Rays. So take the higher than on Cam Schlittler's strikeouts.
All right, easy for you to say. Sign up with a promo code MMASGPN. Claim your special pick and first-time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus credits. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code MMASGPN. All right, let's dive back into some PFL action. Prelim. Do you like any of these prelim fights? I didn't ask you off the top. I
really like that Tom Pags is getting a show on the big show. Like, yeah, he's getting PFL. I kind of thought maybe he'd get a Contender Series bout. Clearly, that didn't come to fruition if he's signed some kind of PFL contract here. But, like, they got him a nice matchup. He's I want to say he's one of the guys who trains with Rob Font over there at the Cartel. Yep. So, like, he's a good prospect, and it's always good to see a Massachusetts guy on there.
Yeah, there you go. Damion Nelson versus Isaiah Diggs, another U.S. versus U.S. matchup. They are fighting at featherweight as well. We'll tell you about Nelson first. He's dynamite. Damion Nelson, 8-4, 3 knockouts. He's been submitted once, 0-1 in PFL. He's won 4 straight. Before that, he has lost 3 straight. TKO win in his last bout. He's not lost since August 2023. Regional champ, 1-0 as a pro kickboxer, 4 inches taller than Diggs, plus 4'11". Another wide one. Diggs, 5-0. This is his debut in PFL. He's regional champ, 3 years younger than Nelson, minus 450. And it looks, by his Tapology picture, looks like he might have wrestled collegiately. Is that right? Or don't you know that? Yeah. It just looks like there's a school thing behind him. I'll dig into it.
Okay. I wouldn't be surprised because that's definitely the style. I'm going to go huge underdog here in Damion Nelson. Okay. I think he's only really an underdog based on the fact that he's 8-4 and he's going to be fighting an undefeated prospect. And as we just said at the top of the show, we love finding an undefeated prospect who's maybe not up to snuff. And it's not that I don't think Diggs is good, but, we just talked about Tom Pags at 6 foot in featherweight and Matt Turnbull's the shorty at 5'7". Diggs is 5'5". That's not a big featherweight, right? Like, he is a stocky dude. And, 5'5" at featherweight, like, there's a law of diminishing returns of how fast you can be when you get that stocky, right? Like, sometimes you're like, oh, he's a shorter guy, so he's going to be faster. It's really not the case with him because he is, like, so strong. He's so muscular. He's actually kind of slow. And, with your striking, when you're 5'5" with featherweight, you have to kind of, like, swing big. You have to make up ground while you're swinging. And that leads to a lot of overhand rights and a lot of, close the distance hooks and stuff like that. And really, I'm not really impressed with his striking. And because he's a little on the slower side too, I think he winds up in a lot of bad spots. Now, you just mentioned that he might have an amateur wrestling background.
Yeah. Colorado State Pueblo. So not a super high level, but still.
I think that's D3. But like, it looks like he wants to wrestle all the time. And to be fair, I think his wrestling's pretty good. I think his entries kind of suck in terms of MMA.
Oh, I hope he's not listening. Yikes.
And I'm just saying from like what I've seen so far, and you can see it in some of the most recent fights, is when he enters, the first takedown rarely works. And part of the problem there is that, the contact is either too high up on the body. Other times it's just he's shot from too far away because he's 5'5". I'm guessing he wrestled at a lower weight class, and it's easier to close the distance on somebody who's just wrestling with you. And now when he's trying to blend the striking and the wrestling, it's just not there yet. You know what I mean? He's a wrestling prospect who just kind of hasn't put it all there yet for me. And with Nelson, this dude's really fast for featherweight. Like, so we're exposing a guy who I think is a little bit slow to a guy who is very fast and has fought an insanely high level of competition for a dude who's, you know, just 12 fights into the regional scene. Like, he's fought so many guys who you've heard of. I mean, he himself has fought Don Shainis. Speaking of Don Shainis, he's fought Tony Toro, who we talked about last week on Fury FC. He's fought Nathan Garib. I had more written down too. Oh, Frank Wells. He fought Nathan Kelly, who we're going to talk about in the next fight. Like, this guy has fought, you know, at least one UFC vet, and then like half a dozen other guys who I've at least like, you know, penciled next to him. Could this guy fight on Contender Series, right? Like, Damion Nelson has fought a lot of those guys, and he's beaten some of them. And when you watch his fight with Shainis too, he sprawls really well on Don Shainis in that fight and like forces him to stand and trade with him. And so, like, you know, if Diggs's first shot isn't there, and we've got a guy who's going to sprawl well on him, that's a problem for Diggs, because I think he's so much slower than Nelson on the feet that if he doesn't get this to the ground, he's in a lot of trouble. So, you know, maybe this fight's a little bit closer to a coin flip than me like being like gung-ho Nelson's definitely going to win. But at what would you say, 375? I
no,
can get
better
Nelson.
Than that. You're 411 is what we're locking.
411. Okay, so that's gone up since I looked at
Yep.
it. Yeah, you can get 411 on a guy who's going to have all the advantages on the feet and has showed me he can sprawl. Yeah, I'll take Damion Nelson in this one for sure.
All right. And Gummy's good at digging and sniffing out underdogs, like he this past weekend, for instance. So there you go. And it seems to be regional. It seems to be the spot you can do it too. We'll consider this PFL regional. I'm sure they don't get as much action on it than they do PFL. So there's always lines to be exploited out there. All right. Here's a name you hear on occasion if you listen to Severe MMA. It's Nathan Kelly. He's from Ireland. He's fighting Frederik Dupras. He's Canadian. I should say his name right. Frederik. It's probably Frederik Dupras. I assume he's from Quebec. Yes, he is. So we got Irish versus Canadian, and they're fighting at, you guessed it, featherweight. Nothing but featherweights so far on this here fight card. I will tell you about Dupras first. 8-2 with 8 submissions. Knocked out once, submitted once. He owes his rounds, damn it. 0-1 in PFL. 6-1 over his last 7. He got submitted in his last bout. He's a regional champ. He's fight down at 135. He's an inch taller than Kelly. He's at plus 139. Kelly, 11-4, 4 knockouts, 5 submissions. He's been knocked out once, submitted twice. 4-2 in PFL. He has lost 2 straight. Before that, he won 11 straight. Both of his past 2 losses have come via submission. Yeah, I see a pattern here. One guy wins by submission. One guy loses by submission. 3-0 in Bellator. Rip. He's fed at 135 as well. 4 years younger than Dupras, minus 138. So tell us why you're not taking the Canadian, Gumby.
No, I do like the Canadian. Yeah. And pretty much for the exact reason you said. You know, I know that's like maybe the lazy man's capology cap,
that's
right? But
my
like,
style.
on the same token too, though, like when you look at the film, it's all right there for you. Like Dupras is coming. Dupras.
Yeah.
You know, something.
Maybe
something
Dupras. I don't know. It's super French. There's a good title. Something French. There's our episode title.
Dupras. We're gonna go Dupras.
That's very American.
Dupras here. You know, if you watch his last fight, he fought Gabriel Braga. You know, who's one of the better guys at featherweight in PFL, and he was damn close to finishing that guillotine. Like, he was real close on it, because when he jumps on your neck, like, he can deal with even some of the best guys in the division, like Braga. I think both of these guys have kind of had issues with their wrestling where they maybe don't look so great there. But only, Kelly has really struggled with the grappling because, once he's gotten to the mat, he fought, what was it, Kim, who beat him in the last fight. I mean, like, Kim took his back and submitted him, and like the defense on the jiu-jitsu was just not there for Nathan Kelly. I remember, because I picked Kelly. I was like, oh, I think the wrestling and the jiu-jitsu will hold up. And man, did it not hold up in that fight. And then in addition to that too, I think I saw additional holes from Kelly when he fought Kim in the last fight, particularly in the stand-up. Like, if for some reason this does stall out, anytime Kelly gets hit with something, I think he feels like he has to respond. And it's like to a fault. Like he gets hit with like a straight shot and he's going to come back with 3, whether his opponent is still there to hit or not. And then he's like almost more out of position than he would be anyway. And he did that once with Kim and it like cost him the fight. And with Dupras, whoever it is, like I think that's bad enough that he could wind up in a bad grappling position. And against him, I don't think there's any surviving that. So give me the Canadian as a slight dog here.
Nice. I like it. I approve. All right. We got a couple more fights. Before we get to those, maybe I should tell you about MyBookie. We're brought to you by MyBookie.ag. MyBookie is your place to bet in every sport, including MLB, WNBA, golf, and of course, football futures. MyBookie accepts customers from a ton of locations. They have easy deposit and lightning fast payouts using crypto. They do have PFL lines, so check them out there. And when you do head to MyBookie.ag, sign up with our promo code MMA SGPN. That way you get 100% deposit match up to $1,000. Terms and conditions apply. That's MyBookie.ag, promo code MMASGPN. And you've heard us talk about Rhythm before, and they just dropped a game-changing feature called Power Trends. That's essentially the best of what their house model has to offer. These are AI-detected patterns where Rhythm's model has consistently won and has a high ROI. Think a strikeout prop that wins 59% of the time when the line and win and probability hit a certain range. Power trends are updated daily and exclusive to Rhythm. No touts, no noise, just clean data-backed bets. Here are some stats for you. MLB power trends are 254 at 147, which is a win rate of 63% and an ROI of 4.5% in their past 400 bets. WNBA power trends 35 and 20 since launch, 63.64% win rate, 20.7% ROI. So download the Rhythm app, check out Power Trends, and start betting smarter. We will be. Gumby usually has a good nugget about Power Trends too. Maybe he does today.
Yeah, where do you think I found out about Cam Schlittler?
I don't know. I've never heard of him.
Yeah, but you know who has is
Yes.
Rhythm, and that's the type of insights you get when you download Rhythm and get a 7-day free trial.
Gumby should do all the ad reads, shouldn't he? Everyone, he's perfect at it. Get your 7-day free trial today. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's RITHMM. Has Tony Toro fought yet, Gumby? He liked that I put a clip out of him. He's on Fury.
Fighting literally as we speak.
Yes.
I'll get you an
good luck. Good luck to Tony Toro. Thank you for sharing our podcast on the old Instagram. So hopefully I can dedicate an episode to him. Only if you win, Tony Toro. All right. We are moving. Guess what? This fight is not at featherweight. We're going up a weight class. This is at lightweight. Husein Kadimagomaev. Husein Kadimagomaev. He's from Switzerland, obviously, right? Kyle Driscoll from the United States of America. They're fighting at 155, as I said. I'll tell you about Driscoll first. I can say that name easy. 14-4, 6 knockouts, 1 submission. He's been knocked out twice, submitted once. This is his debut. 9-1 over his last 10. TKO win in his last bout. He has not fought in almost 2 years, over 2 years actually. June 2023. He's not lost since July 2022. He went 1-0 Contender Series, didn't get a contract. Regional champ, he's fed at 145, 1-0 in combat jiu-jitsu. Gumby would do that, but his face too pretty, right? You don't.
Yeah, I don't like getting smacked.
No, of course not. 3 inches taller, 2 inches reach over Kadimagomaev, right?
Kadimagomaev.
Now you're messing it up. Plus 181. Kadimagomaev, 11-1 with 2 no contests, 6 knockouts, 4 submissions. He's been knocked out once. He owes his rounds pretty much. No contest in PFL. 3-0 with 2 no contests in his last 5. That takes some talent. You 2 no contests in your past 5 fights.
Well, I can tell you why one of them is. I don't know about the
his
other
last
one.
fight.
I know very, very. This show is his last fight is very important to this show.
Yeah. Go ahead. Let me know.
Okay. Yeah, he fought Zafar Motion, who we picked to beat him at plus 1100.
Yes.
And Zafar Motion won that fight, cashed us a plus 1100 ticket, and then proceeded to test positive for like all kinds of steroids.
but as long as you cash and got your money, they can't claw it back.
The
right?
ticket doesn't get a no contest.
Yeah, exactly. Woohoo! All right, so that's one of his no contests. He has not lost a fight March 2021. He's fight at 145, 5 years younger than Driscoll, minus 200. I obviously did not have that ticket because I do not remember, but yes.
Yeah, I do. I also had it in a parlay with Cyborg as an underdog at like 35-1 or something like that. It was one of my better hits of all time. I'm going to go to Kadimagomaev over Driscoll here. The big reason why is, by the way, Tony Toro just knocked out Nick Talavera.
Yay! Good job, Tony Toro.
He's just putting it on him right here. Winded up big, huge, vicious knockout, slept him face forward onto the mat. So I was just watching the end of that fight while this was happening. Another big catch for us, although I think he was a favorite. So Kadimagomaev, here's why I like him. In that fight with Zafar Motion, he did get, out-grappled at least late in the fight. He wore down, which was kind of what we predicted with Zafar motion. He's a grinder and stuff like that. But like early in the fight, the takedowns were there for Kadimagomaev. And he's a tough wrestler. He got sprawled out on a couple of times. He just kept pushing through and scoring the takedowns and all that kind of stuff. And like, at the end of the day, we can kind of excuse his loss as being to like a dude who is juiced up, right? And like he basically just like had less cardio and less strength than a guy who was taking substances to help his cardio and strength.
Imagine that.
And like the grappling looked good from him. And like honestly, my handicap at Driscoll here is just that like if he could stop the takedowns in this fight, I actually think it's a winnable fight for him. Like I think he's a touch faster. He feints well, he moves forward well, but Kadimagomaev just doesn't take a step backwards. So I think if like Driscoll just like is stubborn and keeps moving forward, it's going to wind up in the clinch a lot, going to get taken down a lot, or at least give him more opportunities to take him down. And, Kadimagomaev, when he did take down motion, like he really wasn't good at holding him there. But again, why wasn't he good at holding him there? That's the big question. So like, for me, I think Driscoll winds up getting taken down too many times here. And Kadimagomaev also has good leg kicks too. And, throw that in there is kind of a piece. Could beat up Driscoll enough that the takedowns come later. So I'll take Kadimagomaev.
And his name ends in EV, so you can count on him, right?
Yeah, even if he's Swiss.
Yeah. Wait a minute, Beast Boy's still in the UFC, Gumby. I see.
Yeah, he just got a new fight.
Whoa, amazing! Versus Hamdi Abdul-Wahab.
Yeah, we're just sad for him. We're like, oh, yeah, exactly. Too bad.
I thought did he get cut? Are they re-signing him, or
think so? I think we were just like after watching him fight Kennedy and Zachuka, we cut him.
Yes, in our minds, but he's still in our hearts.
The UFC didn't.
Fantastic. Maybe I hear we need a new main event this coming weekend. Maybe that could be the main event.
I heard that's Waldo Cortez Acosta versus somebody. I don't know who,
that too.
But I'm hearing that rumor. And I've been waiting to fade him. So give me somebody I can fade him against.
And just today, I was looking over that card and like, oh, it's a pretty good card actually for an Apex card. And voila, main event falls out. So we can't have a flyweight main event.
Tyrell Basie would have been sick.
Yeah, that's why you got to have middleweights don't get hurt. Put middleweight in the main event. All right, our last prelim fight we're going to cover today. Jakub Kaszuba from Poland. Sergio Cossio. He is from Mexico. Yes, I always get Mexico and Peru mixed up. They are fighting at 160, so catchweight bout, 3 5-minute rounds. Cossio's Draco. What an original nickname. 27-10-1. 7 knockouts, 13 submissions. He's been knocked out 4 times, submitted 5 times. And 1-1 in PFL. He's won 9 of 10. TKO lost in his last bout. That was back in August 2024. He's missed weight before at 155, but maybe the extra 5 pounds will help him. Multiple regional championships on his
mantle.
Correct. Get a shirt, get a merch, sportsgamblingpockets.com/store. He's fought at 155 and 170, so he's right in the middle now. Basically, 2011 Pro MMA debut, plus 525. We're back to the white odds. The Auditor, we've talked about him before.
We have, He's actually been on Top Turtle MMA.
Oh, yes. The Auditor is 14-0. 6 knockouts, 2 submissions, 6-0 in PFL, 2023 and 2024 European champion. So now they're letting him fight on the prelims of the main card, of the main promotion. He's a regional champ as well. He's fight at 155 and 170 also. 4 years younger than Cossio, 4 inches taller, 3 inches reach, minus 6'4'9". Why is it a catchweight, first of all? Is this a short last minute type of thing?
I think one of them just asked for it, if I'm being honest. I think Cossio has had some like miserable weight cuts in the past. So my guess is probably him. And Kaszuba is a big ass lightweight. Like he's a big dude for this weight class, super strong. It's gonna be Kaszuba for me here. Like if you go back and you watch Cossio's fights, like he's kind of won a couple of fights that you're sort of surprised about, but then like the blueprint's kind of out on how you can beat him. Like if you've got pressure and takedowns, his takedown defense isn't all that great. I went back and watched the fight. Oh, it was Jesse Roberts. I went back and watched him fight, and like he got taken down pretty quick. Jesse Roberts is not even as good of a wrestler as Kaszuba, and like Kaszuba kind of prefers to strike, but like he'll fall back on the wrestling if the striking's not going well. So like, there's a chance he just pieces up Cossio and the grappling never happens. But like, he uses enough of the grappling and mixes it up that I think that's probably the undoing of Cossio. And then the other thing I will say too is, like one of the things I will say about Cossio is when he gets taken down, he seems worried about it after then. And it's weird that he's worried about it because, it lowers the level of his striking almost immediately, but his gas tank is so good. You almost feel like he could just keep popping up. Like maybe that's Cossio's best weapon is his gas tank. But like, you know, I think if I'm Kaszuba or if I'm in his corner in terms of deciding his game plan, I say shoot a takedown in the first 10 seconds. Just make Cossio aware that it's there. If you land it and hit a whole bunch of ground and pound, then awesome. You know, like that's a big win. If not, it's in the back of Cossio's mind that he's going to be panicked about that takedown for the rest of the time. And Kaszuba's just going to light him up like a Christmas tree. So, you know, it would behoove him to hit that takedown early. But even if he doesn't, you know, I think he's better than Cossio everywhere. That's why we see a wide line here. So, yeah, Kaszuba is my pick.
All right. Lots of wide lines, but Gumby's in on the fun side of one of them, at least. This recap. Kaszuba, Kadimagomaev. Still hard to say, but that's all right. Dupras, Nelson, that's the big dog for you this week. And Pagliarulo. Tommy Pags, as Gumby said. All right, you're all set for half of the PFL. We'll cover the other half of the fights tomorrow. Main card plus one prelim fight that was just added to like within the past day or so. In the meantime, we'll be in the Discord, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Discord. We shall be on the old checking our YouTube comments. So MMA Gambling Podcast, make sure you subscribe there, please and thanks. SGPN MMA on the Twitter. He's at Gamble Responsibly. I'm at Jeff Fox Writer there and on Instagram for me. I have a Substack. You can enter my free pick'em contest. Check out all my MMA writings and stats and all the good stuff at moneymma.substack.com. Gumby has another podcast. It's called Top Turtle. It's a very good podcast. He interviews interesting people in MMA. Who are the interesting people this week?
Oh, we got a couple of Contender Series guys. We're talking to Ty Miller, who's going to be on the first episode. We actually interviewed his opponent a couple of weeks ago, Jimmy Drago. And then we're also talking to Damon Wilson.
Dynamite Damon Wilson? He should be Dynamite too.
Damon Wilson is the nomad. He's the the San Diego resident who fights in Cage Warriors all the time, weirdly. And we talk about that, so you can hear about
do. Yeah. All right. Awesome. So that is the old Top Turtle. And of course, we can be found at sportsgamblingpodcast.com, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/store to get your merch needs, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Patreon to get your bonus content. All right. We shall be back tomorrow for the other half of PFL. Like I said, it shall be me, Dynamite Jeff Fox, the auditor, Gumby Vreeland. We'll talk to you then.